Hey family, welcome back to Kisima, your water and well to be equipped, encouraged, and ignited in God's Word, where we talk about all things faith and mental health related as it pertains to the promises in the Word. So today, I don't think I've talked about this yet, but I just wanted to come up with a relationship video because I have so much expertise being that I've been married for 6 whole months. I'm just kidding. No, but there have been some things that I have learned about myself, about hubby in the past 6 months that I think pertain to whether you're in a relationship or not. A relationship meaning like intimate partner relationship or not. It pertains to every relationship you carry. One of the main things that I noticed were around role expectations, one for myself and then for him. And when they weren't in alignment, the kind of conflict it brought up for us. So like I know for me, just having grown up in a culture that's very paternalistic, there are just certain expectations that I had for myself as a wife. Like, what does it mean to be a wife? It means, your house is spick and span consistently. You cook dinner every day, no matter how tired you are. You, just make sure your husband's needs are catered to. And, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just when it becomes like, what's the word I'm looking for? Unrealistic. I was going to say irrational. Unrealistic expectations for yourself and then unrealistic expectations for your partner. Because what happened is, like, I would come home from like a 1 to 9 shift or something. And it'll be like, so like I'm expected to cook like right now, like right this moment. Because baby's a night owl, so, he is going to be up, he is going to eat. But like, he didn't even have those expectations for me. But I'd be like so discouraged, like, oh, I'm doing a terrible job. Oh my gosh, I can do so much better. Okay, next week, Sunday, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, babe, Derek is like, oh, baby, you're just the best wife ever. You're just so sweet. You're so caring. You're so this. You're so that. And I couldn't hear it at all. Like, I could not hear it because in my mind I had determined I'm only good when A, B, C, D, E. And so then now for him, the expectations that I had, like around him having the same level or expectation around like cleanliness, like role sharing, responsibility, chore sharing. And for him, like, if I don't make it clear or like verbalize, like, this is your task today or this weekend or whatever, he's just gonna be like, okay, I'm all good, I'm chilling, everything looks fine. Because like the house is not like messy, but it's just, I like it washed every week or so. So I'd be like, no, the bathroom needs clean, the kitchen needs clean, everything needs mopping, and everything needs dusting, and everything needs blah, 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 blah. And I'm like so riled up because like I ended up doing the things on my own because I didn't clarify or ask him specifically around like what kind of help I needed, which I've talked about before around the perfectionist thing and just me being somebody who has a hard time asking for help. Don't ask me why, because I am such a big I'm like a big proponent for other people asking for help, but then when it comes to myself, it's like, no, I got this all by myself. And then later on I'm like suffering because I'm exhausted, I'm frustrated, I'm angry. And then we don't have that level of intimacy I would like us to have, right? Like that kind of stuff, like as small as it is, it will eat away at the honeymoon period of your marriage. So like it took a while for me to be like, why am I having all these like crazy unrealistic expectations of myself? I mean, like I'm not doing anything wrong. I am already a loving, considerate person. Like I adore my husband. Like he is my partner and I am my best friend. I go above and beyond to make sure that I'm just loving and serving him on a level that I know he deserves and that I know I would want in return. So just like feeling like all of that is overshadowed by like, oh, but this is one thing I didn't do, right? Like, which is so silly now that I think about it. But I mean, it took a lot around like just prayer and like doing like some major heart checks and like self-evaluations, like girl, is this working or not? Because it wasn't like, it was like impacting like the amount of quality time we'd have together that was actually peaceful, and just like the atmosphere in the home was kind of like on edge. I feel like he was walking on eggshells for a while around like is she gonna flip on something? And when I say flip on something, it's like he doesn't see anything wrong, because literally nothing is wrong except in my mind, right? Because I have this view of like, oh, I'm not being good enough, so like I'll nag him like, tell me what to do better, or what am I not doing well, like tell me, and it's like, chill girl, like I have no feedback for you, like you're doing absolutely fine. It's like, oh, why wouldn't you be honest with me? Am I the only one? Like, please don't tell me I'm the only one who's been through such a phase, because it happens in any relationship. It could even happen with the boss, like not in the same way, but it's like, oh, I'm not being a good coworker. I'm not being a good worker until I do A, B, C, D, E, versus just be, right? Like, you being efficient, you being passionate, you being invested, brings up the actions required to maintain that and to show that to others who are around you, right? Like I was saying before, just being loving and serving allowed hubby to feel loved and served, even though in my mind I had these like crazy expectations of what loving and serving looked like, because I was showing up in all these other areas. He was feeling it all, but just because I was focused on this thing that I felt was not working, I created an atmosphere of feeling like it's not working and contention between the two of us, right? Same is true with even like the sibling relationships, like my sisters and my sisters all live out of the country, so one's in Canada, one's in Canada, one's in Kenya, and we have like a chat group where we chat almost, every day. And if we don't hear from one another, like, we're gonna send a search group, But if I had the expectation of we will like video chat every day, knowing there's like a time difference, there is scheduling differences, that we're each like functioning adults with our own like tasks and responsibilities, then I would start feeling like our relationship is going down the drain. They've been out of the country for what, like in a row for like 6 years now, where we've been like, oh my god, it's been 6 years. I just surprised myself. Where we've been, visiting back and forth to be with one another. And, for the most part, like we are separate from one another, but we have the closest relationship. Like, I adore and love my sisters, my 2 older sisters, and then my 2 younger sisters who are here in the US. But like, I adore my family, and I make sure I make time for them. So if I had unrealistic expectations of, oh, you have to see each other once a month, and then we can't do that, then I'd start feeling like something is wrong. So just in considering for you, what are some unrealistic expectations, one you have for yourself, one you have for others? What kind of atmosphere is it creating? Is it working for you? Is it not? And what can you do to change it? The time is now, because honestly it starts with a choice. And I've talked about this in a couple other videos of, we literally just have to choose better to do better, right? And I just talked about the being. In the being, then we get to do what needs to be done, right? The behavior aligns with the being, and then we have the kind of life, the kind of relationships, peace, connection, intimacy that we desire. So again, be, then do, and then you have what you want. But assess those things, like, what are unrealistic expectations for myself? What are unrealistic expectations for my parent, my sibling, my colleagues, my boss, my strangers on the train? Like, oh, I expect strangers on the train not to talk loudly just because I'm coming from a rough day at work. When you're hanging out with somebody who you're having a mighty good old time with, like, do you think about other people who are around you that might be hearing you cackling and giggling or talking loudly on the phone and whatnot? What kind of day they just had? So just remember, if you walk in a mindset of consideration or being considerate to others, you'll notice those things, and then you won't have those expectations on others that you're not meeting, or they'll be a little bit more aligned. You'll be more gracious. You'll be able to say like, oh, this person is having a good time, well, I'm glad they're having a good day, versus like, oh, why are you so obnoxious? Which I've done multiple times, but nowadays I check myself, because there are conversations, somebody will call me like, oh my gosh, how are you? I haven't talked to you in so long. And then I wouldn't even notice how obnoxious and bubbly I am being. But there are people around me who, I don't know what kind of day they've been having. I don't know what kind of, like, if they want silence or not. But because I am so giddy excited, I might not be able to see that. being able to have that same grace for others, then it can come back to you. So yeah, I just really wanted to just a quick chit chat. There was no like framework around it, but I hope you got to the point of what I was trying to get to, and I would love to hear more around kind of what crazy or unrealistic expectations have you had for yourself or for others. Put them in the comment section below. And what are you vowing to do next? Like, what is the choice you are deciding to make to create the kind of life, the kind of relationships, the kind of workspace that you desire to have and that you deserve? You feel me? Anywho, until next time, later lovelies. Bye.